I think we are live now, guys. How we doing today out there? Welcome back to Over the Talk Rope. My name is Gage, and today we will be talking about WWE Monday Night Raw from February 8th. Let me turn on this light here. That might help a bit. Yeah. So overall, this Monday Night Raw wasn't that bad. I didn't mind it at all. I thought it was actually kind of fun. In a lot of parts. There's obviously some parts I didn't care for as much, but I think overall it wasn't a bad Monday Night Raw. The last 2 weeks of Raw have been significantly better than the previous nearly a year of Raw, which has been mediocre at best. And maybe this episode isn't that great either, and I'm just become so used to it being bad that mediocrity is good. I don't know. But overall, I really like this Raw. We had a lot of good stuff. We had a lot of announcements that came out that I feel like that are kind of exciting heading into Mania. So let's kind of get into it. Adam Pearce comes out to start the show. He's already out in the ring, actually. He introduces Shane McMahon, which is a really weird choice. Why? Just why? So Shane comes out and he has Adam Pearce announce McIntyre will defend his title in the Chamber. So let's talk about that really briefly. So they announced that he's going to defend in the Chamber against previous WWE champions, which would be Hardy, Orton, Styles, Miz, and Sheamus. Shane contributes absolutely nothing to this. He walks out, he tells Adam Pearce to do this, and then he walks back. He doesn't do anything. He just comes out. What was the point of having Shane O'Mac in the building? Because I don't think that it's not like he drew anybody to the beginning of the show. He wasn't announced previously, so it was a surprise. I don't know. It was weird. I don't understand the point of Shane coming out because Adam Pearce takes care of pretty much everything. Whenever Shane's walking away, we do have AJ Styles come out with Amos. And he talks about the Chamber, says that the timing is perfect for him to become a 3-time champ, and has always thought Pearce was a dumbass, and says that he's going to give him a preview of the Elimination Chamber match up next, and then that's whenever Jeff Hardy comes out. There was a brief moment whenever AJ was coming out and whenever Shane was heading back, where Shane talked to Amos real quick. Amos didn't really react, but it is cool to see because Amos was previously known as Jordan for Raw Underground, and him and Shane had a good dynamic there. It's good to see that they gave us that little moment there. Pretty cool. I enjoyed that. So yes, Hardy comes out next. We cut the break. Whenever we come back from commercial break, we do have a backstage segment where Shane is heading to his limo and Drew pulls up on him and he's like, what's going on here? I thought that my match was only going to be against Sheamus. That was what I was planning on for the Chamber. And Shane says that defending in the Chamber is the best way to prove himself, and that having all these superstars in the Chamber and defending the championship in the Chamber is a bigger draw, basically. And that comes into play later. That's okay, whatever. It is weird to do that. I'm wondering if they're gonna provide any more reasoning for it later on or not. I don't know. I mean, honestly, I didn't mind the announcement itself. I feel like it's cool to announce that kind of thing. I just wish that we were going to, I don't know. I feel like there may have been better ways to do it, I guess is what I am saying. But that's just me. I don't know. So we do jump back to the ring. Jeff Hardy and AJ Styles are in the ring, and Hardy's a little more aggressive than he has been of late in this match. He starts off super aggressive and takes control early. Um, they square up, and AJ starts to get the beat down on Hardy. And then these two go back. They go back and forth quite a bit throughout this match until Jeff goes. AJ sends him into the corner. Jeff goes up and over, and then tweaks his knee. So they're going to be playing on that. Throughout the match, Jeff rolls out of the ring. AJ follows up with a chop block and throws Hardy's knee into the steel steps. So after the break, Styles is still in control, attacking the knee, gets the calf crusher in, but Hardy grabs a rope. Styles does go for the phenomenal forearm, but Hardy is able to leap, knock the ropes, knocking AJ off his balance, and AJ falls. Right after that, Hardy hits his atomic leg drop into his, the atomic drop onto his knee. Then the leg drop combo, gets a pin for 2, then hits a facebuster on AJ and gets another 2 count. Styles does go for the Styles Clash, which is quickly reversed into a twist of fate. Why Jeff did not go for the pin there is beyond me, because that's also a finisher move. That's a finishing move. So I don't know why he didn't go for it. But he does climb for the Swanton, misses, and then Styles gets him in the calf crusher for the win. It was a pretty quick match. I think that it was nice seeing Jeff be a little bit more aggressive than he usually is. But, I mean, it was cool, man. It wasn't a bad match at all. I expected more Amos interference. There wasn't any of that. So that was good to see. But overall, pretty good match. So then next up, they announced that they're going to have a Keith Lee versus Matt Riddle match, which is like, okay, Keith Lee is back. That's a surprise. We haven't seen him since his WWE Championship match against Drew McIntyre at the beginning of the year. So it was good to see Keith Lee back. There's a promo between Lee and Riddle where Lee asked him Lee asked Riddle if he still wants to go after the U.S. title because the Hurt Business keeps wrecking him. I mean, he keeps losing to Bobby Lashley. It kind of defeats the purpose. And Riddle says he has failed a few times, but just like Air Bud, he's going to overcome and win the title. Lee suggests that it is maybe time for him to get a shot at the U.S. title. And the first step in doing that is to beat Riddle tonight. And then they just walk away from each other. We do get a New Day coming out to the ring, so we already know that's going to be versus Retribution after the break. But first we do get a backstage segment where Pierce is confronted by Sheamus. So it's the same thing with Drew and Shane, except with Sheamus. Sheamus obviously is going to be more aggressive as he is the heel. So Sheamus says that he asks first if Pierce thinks that he's not a draw, because that was kind of what Shane insinuated earlier. He says that he's not getting the respect that he deserves, and tells Pierce that whatever happens in the chamber is on him because he is going to annihilate every person in the chamber. Which is going to be interesting to see how they go about doing this story. I don't know. I'm assuming that they're going to try to lead this up to Sheamus versus McIntyre at Mania. I don't see Styles winning. I don't see Orton winning. I mean, maybe they'll let Orton win, and then it's Fiend versus Orton for the title. I don't think that's really the route that they should go. So it looks like they were going to lead up to McIntyre versus Sheamus at Mania. Maybe we can get Keith Lee in there, but it seems that he's moved on to the United States title scene, so I kind of doubt it. But we'll see. We'll see what happens there. So the participating members of Retribution in this tag team match versus the New Day is going to be Slapjack and T-Bar, Shane Thorne and Dijak. And then we also have Ollie on commentary. So Ollie on commentary, he was very obviously hostile, aggressive. He was frustrated. I don't know, man. I'm thinking myself. I don't really know which. It was borderline distracting with Ali on the commentary desk, in my opinion. In my opinion, it's not what he was doing was bad, but it was hard to really look like. It was hard to pay attention to both him and in the match because it sounds weird to say, but Ali was just so loud and he was drawing attention to himself, which a good commentator doesn't do that. They just call the match, and obviously that's not why Ali is on commentary, obviously. But you have four people at the commentary desk. That it just got a little bit much from Ali. Not that what he was doing was bad, just not really my thing. So this match I was kind of half paying attention to. I was in the middle of doing a few other things at the time, but Woods is in charge over Slapjack, tags in Kofi. Kofi hits a dropkick, missile dropkick on Shane Thorne or Slapjack, whichever one you want to call him by. I'm gonna probably bounce between the two names. Not gonna lie to you. Slapjack is able to get a tag to T-Bar, Dijak, and overpowers Kofi. And Kofi is able to get both Thorne and Dijak to the outside. Woods pulls down the rope and Kofi hits his trust fall. New Day does get the win. I missed most of this second half of the match, but Retribution were in charge after the break. It didn't last long because Kofi hits the Trouble in Paradise to knock out Dijak, and then they hit their tag team finisher to pin Slapjack. Pardon me. But something I haven't had the chance to actually talk to anybody about. Why did Slapjack go to Shane Thorne? Slapjack? I mean, whatever. It doesn't matter. So New Day does get the win in that match. And then we move on to, I want to say we go to break after this. Ric Flair and Lacey Evans come to the ring after that. And this whole feud just takes the life out of me because they're gonna definitely take that title off of Asuka and give it to Lacey Evans, aren't they? That's just, I mean, it's borderline disrespectful. It's messed up. It's messed up. I don't understand the reason behind it at all. Let's hope that doesn't happen. So back to what I was saying. Rick is saying that he knows that Charlotte doesn't need him, and that but he wants to still feel needed. He needs to feel needed in the wrestling community. He says that Lacey needs his training, and they're aiming for Asuka at this point, which they did later announce that Lacey versus Asuka at the Chamber is going to happen for the title. Again, terrifying me. Lacey says that she treats him like the legend he is and that he deserves to be treated like, unlike Charlotte, and that cues Charlotte to come out. There is a moment here where Rick does try to hold the ropes for Charlotte to help her get into the ring. Lacey does pull him away, so Charlotte just enters and says that if Lacey wanted to learn, she should go back to the Performance Center. And then she turns to Rick and says, asks him if she's supposed to validate him. What is this about? Is she supposed to come out here and validate Rick? She's been doing nothing but protecting their legacy ever since arriving in WWE. Tells him that she doesn't care who he manages, as long as he doesn't try to take her down with him. Is essentially it. Lacey and Rick talk about that that her and Charlotte can be a tag team, that they can aim for the tag titles. and stop this fighting. There's no need for the fighting and stuff like that. Um, and then there's more stuff. They just go on for a while between the two of them. There is a moment where they say Lacey beats if Lacey beats Charlotte, then she does get that match versus Asuka at the Chamber, which okay, kind of happens. I'll get into that here in a moment. Lacey does deck Charlotte at this point. We cut to break. We know that there's a match coming up. But every time we come back from commercial, we always get a promo instead of just jumping to the match that we were previously at. So Miz and Morrison are telling Angel Garza that they'll have his back later against Priest tonight. Because Priest has got Bad Bunny in his corner. So they're going to continue this Miz Morrison, Bad Bunny, Priest feud in this match with Angel Garza. I'm not sure if Garza is going to join Miz and Morrison to become like an extra member of their crew or not. He kind of fits the bill and will at least give Angel Garza something to do. But we'll see how that goes in the future. So, and early in this match, Charlotte's going hard at Lacey, really being aggressive. Lacey is eventually able to reverse and take over and starts going after the injured shoulder before the break. We come back from break. This doesn't last long. Lacey is in charge until Charlotte takes over again, basically. Charlotte goes to jump off the apron. I think she's going to do her moonsault. And Lacey pulls Rick in front of her, making Charlotte stop, and then trips Charlotte on the apron. So Lacey is in charge after we come back from break. Charlotte is still mostly fighting through, though, because it's Charlotte, and that's what she does. So Evans goes for her moonsault where she's on the second row, bounces up, and then does the moonsault from the top, which is pretty cool to see. But Flair does get her feet up and knocks down Lacey. Charlotte goes to confront Rick and gets dropped by Lacey again. It's almost as if, again, I said this last week. Why is it that we're led to believe that Charlotte's an idiot here, man? Because she's, again, been one of the more tactical, smart women's wrestlers in the last, I don't know, nearly a decade now. So this whole thing just, it's not my, I just don't understand. I understand she's pissed. I understand that this is something that hits close to home for her, obviously. But this whole losing track of who you are, it doesn't make sense with her character, in my opinion. But anyway, so she gets dropped by Lacey again. Evans goes to do the figure four, and then Charlotte gets her off of it, and then hits a spear on Lacey. And this spear looks sick, dude. It was a really, really good spear. So after that, she goes and confronts Rick again. She's like, "Are you serious right now? Okay, so watch what I'm about to do." She starts beating down Lacey in the corner. The ref tries to pull her off. He says 4, tries to pull her off, and Charlotte pushes the ref, says, "Get off of me," and the ref calls for the bell. Lacey Evans wins by disqualification, which means that she does get that match versus Asuka at the Elimination Chamber, which means we're probably going to get Charlotte versus Lacey Evans at Mania for the women's title, where Charlotte will then win back the title. I just... it just drains me, man. I don't agree with going this route. I don't think that this should be for the title. I don't think, I mean, I think it's not a great story in general, but like, it's not my jam, man. It really isn't. But let's move on to something that's totally my jam. So Edge comes out after break. He goes on about how he came face to face with all the champions this past week. Drew, Balor, and Roman, in how the landscape is rapidly changing. Balor has to go through TakeOver. McIntyre is now in the chamber match, and Edge says he doesn't like Drew's odds of coming out the chamber as champion. So he's going to have to wait and make his choice after that match. Because he's a smart player, he's an opportunist, he knows what he's doing. Miz Morrison and Garza come out, they interrupt, and Miz says he'll be waiting to cash in on Edge and will leave Mania as champion. Edge says that he's the one that put Money in the Bank on the map. You don't have to tell him about Money in the Bank. He is the Money in the Bank. He's the one that helped make it. He tells Miz to focus on what's in front of him, dealing with Damian Priest, dealing with the Elimination Chamber match. Edge he verbally annihilates Miz. He destroys Miz in this promo, and he says basically at the end he says, "You're playing. I'm playing Edge. I'm playing poker while you're playing Old Maid. You're not on the same level as me. Move on." And so he just steps out of the ring at that point. He destroys Miz and walks away. So yeah, I mean that was something to see. So after that, we do have Bad Bunny come out, and then Priest comes out following that. Damian Priest dominates Garza throughout this, basically the whole match. Miz and Morrison distract, and Garza is able to get a chop to the throat and takes control briefly. Priest becomes furious and, again, just completely obliterates Garza. Miz and Morrison distract again. Priest is on the outside. They start beating down Priest while Garza is distracting the ref. Bad Bunny grabs the briefcase to distract Miz and Morrison. Morrison goes after it. Bad Bunny throws the briefcase into the ring. Morrison gets into the ring to grab it. The ref sees it. He throws Miz and Morrison out. They both get ejected. Priest hits the Reckoning for the win. Really quick match. Priest looks dominant. They are making him look really good. Having him... a lot of people are hating on Bad Bunny for whatever reason. Listen. Bad Bunny is one of the biggest stars in music today. He has more Spotify streams than anybody last year. This dude is huge. This is a good thing. I understand maybe you don't want celebrities wrestling in the ring and being a part of storylines, but whenever it's somebody who can bring more eyes to the product, whenever it's especially somebody who's bringing more eyes to Damian Priest, who is being set up to be what appears to be a big deal, that's a good thing. That is a really good thing. And I just don't understand the people that are mad about this whole Bad Bunny thing. It just screams all positives for me. With that being said, it even looks like, because they're feuding with Miz and Morrison, this kind of feels like how Miz and Morrison started feuding with Otis last year to get the Money in the Bank briefcase. It would be cool to see Priest just take the briefcase and just rocket strap him to the main title scene. We'll see. I don't know if that's the route they're going to go. It'd be cool, but I don't know if they're really going to want to do another briefcase being swapped to a different person thing, because I mean we're not that far away from the next Money in the Bank match, so I wouldn't be surprised to see Priest in there. It's unlikely, but I think it would be rad if he did take it. So next we do have Drew backstage. He says that Sheamus could have just asked for a title match. They're friends. He would have given it to him. But he's focusing on his match with Randy tonight. He's focusing on his match with Orton. Says that whenever he's backed into a corner, he becomes like a animal, and he is ready to take out anybody that gets in his way. So, yeah. Next up, we have Riddle versus Lee. This is a really good match. Really, really good match. Before that, though, we do get Bianca backstage saying that she has to be the best. She has to beat the best. Asuka says that Bianca isn't ready for her. Bianca does disagree, but they both agree that Lacey Evans isn't ready for Asuka. Says that if Asuka beats Lacey Evans at the Chamber, that we may see more of her at Raw. So, yeah, okay. Probably gonna be going after Sasha. So, but it's good that they aren't like outright announcing who they're going to face or what title they're going to chase at Mania. That's happened the last few years, and I think that this is a good thing. So next up, we do get, like I said, Riddle versus Lee. Riddle goes for a armbar. Lee lifts him up and goes for a slam, but Riddle's able to hop off. Riddle throughout the match is trying to do some mat-based wrestling while Lee is showing off his enormous strength. Riddle does get Lee into a sleeper hold before he is flipped off of his back. Lee shoulder tackles Riddle. The shoulder tackle that we all know that he hit on Cole in NXT that sent Cole flying through the audience. Essentially that. Right? So he does that, and Riddle sent across the ring, and Lee takes over at this point, up until Riddle hits a Pele kick. He does go for an exploder suplex, but Lee reverses. Lee goes for a speared bomb. Riddle is able to hit his knee on Lee for 2. He hits the floating bro for 2, and then he keeps up the attack with a series of brotons. He goes for the final flash knee strike, and then Lee reverses into a spirit bomb. Riddle reverses that. Spirit bomb into a triangle hold, and then Lee throws him into the turnbuckle. Riddle hits final flash knee strike, and then Lee is stunned. He's walking up, bounces off the ropes, hits Riddle with a spirit bomb for the win. This was a fast-paced match. These two guys have a lot of chemistry. Obviously, I mean, they've done this many times on the independents, and they're good friends. I mean, it was really, really a solid match. Really fun stuff. Really fast-paced. I would love to see more of this stuff, and there's a good chance we will because of what happens next. So Lashley attacks Lee and Riddle. Lee tries... So Riddle gets knocked down early. Lee tries to attack Lashley, and then Lashley he picks up Lee in basically it's like a one-arm spine buster. Essentially, is what happened, and it looked gnarly, dude. Lashley just throws Lee like he's nothing, and then he puts Riddle in the hurt lock. He continues to attack Lee on the outside. Hits him with the steel steps to the face, and then stands tall with the title on the announce table. Unhinged Bobby Lashley is freaking gold, dude. MVP was kind of directing him as things were happening because he was letting him know because Riddle tried to attack him once whenever Lee was trying to climb back up on the apron. MVP was like, Bobby, over here. And then he dropped Riddle and then took out Lee again. This is the kind of Lashley that should be in the main title scene. He should be going for the WWE Championship, but he's still in this United States picture. I mean, not that that's a bad thing. I just think that at this point, I think he should be in the WWE title picture again, like he was last year. Except this new unhinged Bobby Lashley would be sick. It would be nice to have him as a WWE champion. There's an Orton promo in the back, says he's going to end any unfinished business tonight with Drew. And he's going to take the title at the Chamber. Really straightforward stuff there. No Alexa Bliss tonight. There was no Alexa Bliss in the final match like I thought there was going to be. But I guess you can't do that every single week. I wouldn't be surprised if The Fiend doesn't show up at the Chamber and ruins Randy's chances at the title there. So we do have a tables match next up. Nia Jax versus Lana. Nia is dominating this entire match. Lana gets very little offense in. Nothing really going on there. Jax gets her up for a powerbomb. Lana is able to Rana Hurricane Rana Nia to the outside onto the apron, tries to knock her off, but Nia Jax reverses. Nia goes for the leg drop, misses. She starts screaming because she hurt her tailbone. She screams, "My hole," talking about her butthole. It was absolutely hysterical. I laughed really hard when she screamed, because she first screams "my butt" and then she's like "my hole." It was fantastic. It's been trending on Twitter all day. It was. I don't always like Nia Jax, but that was a phenomenal moment. And then Lana pushes her through the table for the win after that. So Naomi and Lana are celebrating in the ring because remember, they're a tag team now. And then Shayna tries to attack Lana and Naomi. She fails. Naomi does get her on the outside of the ring. So we come back from break and it's Shayna versus Naomi, which felt like it was really out of nowhere, but cool. You know, we get a match with Naomi in it. Somebody that probably should have gotten a title match instead of Lacey Evans, but they're doing the tag title scene right now. So Naomi starts quick, gets a lot of offense in until Shayna hits her arm stomp to take over. Shayna does go for a knee in the corner. Naomi moves and then starts getting a flurry of offense in. Shayna's able to get the Caribou to clutch. But Naomi grabs the rope. Lana is attacked on the outside by Shayna. And then whenever Shayna makes her way back into the ring, she gets rolled up. Naomi gets the win. Really quick match. Nothing really special here. They made Shayna look good. Very dominant throughout this match. Which I feel like they need to start showing that side of Shayna again. Because, I mean, this time last year, Shayna went through the entire Elimination Chamber. She started it and she eliminated everybody. I think she started it. But she eliminated all 5 other people to get that match against Becky. That's the kind of Shayna that should be seen now. She's been stuck in this tag title picture for a long time. Not that that's a bad thing. She has a belt, but I think she needs to be like one of the main players in the title scene. That's my preference. I would much rather see her versus Asuka at Mania for this title. That's just not where we're at, though. It's unfortunate, but that's not where where they're taking the story, it seems. Okay. So we are in our main event, and like I said, this Raw felt like a breeze. It really went by quickly. There's a lot of fun stuff going on. So, and we're already at the main event here. So Orton versus McIntyre, right? They have a solid back and forth at first. And then Drew tries to hit Orton with a draping DDT, and then Sheamus comes out to distract. Orton tosses Drew to the outside. After break, Orton is in charge, tosses Drew again to the outside, hits the backdrop onto the table. Orton controls until Drew reverses and hits the belly-to-belly suplex from the corner, and then he hits his neckbreaker. He goes for the Future Shock DDT. Orton rolls him up for a kick out at 2. Drew hits a really good-looking spine buster. Drew goes up top for whatever reason. And Randy meets him there to hit him with a superplex. They both get up. Drew does hit the Glasgow Kiss onto Orton. Orton then gets Drew in draping DDT position, nails him with that. Orton then, after that, goes for the RKO. Drew reverses into a Future Shock DDT. Some other stuff happens. Orton gets Drew up. And then Sheamus comes into the ring. Drew's back is to Sheamus. Orton is looking at Drew. And you see Orton push Drew out of the way. And he gets drilled with a bro kick from Sheamus. So Orton gets the DQ win. Drew then hits Sheamus with the Claymore. Which is what our photo is today, is Drew standing tall over Sheamus. But I don't know if we were supposed to see that angle where we see Orton move Drew out of the way to take the bro kick, because that doesn't fit with his character at all. That may have just been bad camera direction. But I mean, honestly, all in all, cool. I mean, it was weird not seeing Bliss show up tonight, but it was also cool seeing like we're starting to sow the seeds of Elimination Chamber. So we have Sheamus now messing with Orton unintentionally, granted, but he's aiming for Drew. He does end up hitting Orton. So there's three of the people right there. We did have AJ and Hardy earlier in the night doing their stuff, and then Miz is focused on Bad Bunny. So, which a lot of people aren't happy that Miz is in the Elimination Chamber match. He has the briefcase. Why would you put him in the chamber? It's because they, for whatever reason, decided to say past WWE champions, we're making this an all-star talent Elimination Chamber, which is cool. I'm trying to think if there's anybody else. I mean, you could put Kofi in there, but Kofi is kind of wrapped up in the whole Retribution storyline. I can't think of anybody else on Raw that really fits that mold because Morrison never won a world title. But yeah. So overall, I think this was a really good Raw. I think that Raw tonight it was better than it has been in recent history. And I vibed with it. I thought it was really good stuff. So you guys let me know. What are you thinking? If you are enjoying this here on the Over the Talk Rope Twitch channel, be sure to hit me with a follow, subscribe, whatever. I do whatever you want to. I post all these videos over at my YouTube channel, Over the Talk Rope, as well. And it's been a pleasure chatting with you guys. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you guys next time.